All right. Welcome, everyone. Yay. Welcome, Simulation Talk 195. And Carter is in the house. So on YouTube and X and Twitch, I'm officially streaming now from the new laptop that Carter got me. I mean, I'm still blown away. Bro, you're amazing. You're the man. He was like, yo, your laptop is too slow. It's not gonna do. Here's one. I mean, what else can one do but pay it forward? So I can't wait to be able to pay this forward. Brother, I love you. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's incredible. This is the new model that it wasn't released anywhere. I believe this one can time travel, and it makes coffee. That's a nice perk. Way to go, Apple. What's up, Casey? How you doing, brother? You didn't know? That's what Apple did. My Brighton, Devin, how are you, my brother? I haven't seen you in a while, Casey, in like a few days, I believe. No, I appreciate you, man. It's I mean, again, I know it was necessary and you're spot on because there's a lot of stuff going on, but man, I'm I'm truly blown away. Twitch what? Oh, Twitch LaserX83 if anybody wants to join from Twitch. I would appreciate it. What's up, XORR? How are you? Also read your messages, brother. Watched your video. XORR, if you guys don't know, shared some personal stuff about what he believes he also discovered about the code. So, you know, it really depends on how you're framing the project, right? There's a lot of things that are happening outside of what I'm doing in terms of the transition on the planet. There's the awakening occurring, a lot of people understanding all kinds of things all of a sudden. So there's by no means what I'm doing is the only game in town in terms of you know, the big change in the world. What we're doing, at least in Code of Reality and in Project Veilbreak XORR, is we are trying to merge physics and to actually study what in fact is going on in reality through cognition. So we, at the moment, we're calling it cognitive physics. We'll see. It's a placeholder. We might change it, but at the moment, that aims towards what we're trying to do. So hopefully, I'll bring Casey over here. Hopefully, this is something that we will be able to substantiate more and more, and I do believe we're going to be able to do it in a timely manner. But that's essentially how we're approaching it. In other words, I deeply appreciate your contribution and what you have to share. And if you want, I'll share it publicly. I don't know if you want that or not, but if you do, please share it on Discord. You're more than welcome to, and people can comment on it. For me, the importance is what application does it have in terms of what we understand. That's where the juice is at for me. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing super good. So, if correct, you know, I'm just going to bring it back to what I'm hearing. So, are you in the what's in the works? What you're talking about right now is, it sounds to me like it's an organized. I don't want to say Molecule X project of sorts. Like, it's, you know, we're doing it from the ground level. You're gathering people from everywhere and far in between. And, you know, like, so I know you said you were working on laboratory space and stuff like that, but you don't have a full facility yet, but we have all these people that are experimenting, all these people that are coming to you because you're such I don't, enigmatic is the right word, but cool person, for lack of better words at the moment. But, and everybody's gathering around you. So is that what you're saying, that you're going to gather all the people to finally, because we're the ones doing this stuff.
So that's a really good point. This is something that Carter has been recently encouraging people to do, which is just to experiment by themselves, and it doesn't have to necessarily involve the molecule. We have a few potential ways that people can contribute without touching the molecule. In other words, analyzing the data of the laser with different tools like AI tools, something that you yourself have been doing. Now you have a helper because you have the behind the scenes that you're also seeing with the molecule, for example. But what you're doing would squarely fit within what we're trying to do. In other words, we're going to follow a few protocols that, even if to a scientist will look a little bit too wild to entertain, and we're going to take them, we're going to run them. If it doesn't run through, we will discard it. So we're not going to keep going in directions that are dead ends. But if we do see, think of us as the molecule X with a little bit more of a Wild West twist. So we're allowing ourselves a little bit more freedom of operation because we are not tethered and or restricted by the academic world, what we say, and things like this. And it's great because we're not trying to compete with anybody. I think we're filling in a niche, a space that is important to fill in right now because we don't necessarily have 10 years to run all of these experiments. We might have a year or two to really figure it out because something is happening in terms of like, and it's going, yo, let's go. Like it needs to happen now. And that's what I believe we can do. We can inspire enough smart people on the planet to contribute. But at the same time, this is a conversation I'm constantly having with members and on lives. And you know this spiel probably better than most, which is that, hey, we're trying to take the central line. In other words, no, not everything goes. Some things are nonsense, and we're not gonna entertain that for more the time that it needs to be entertained because there's no time for this, right? But if it is something that seems a little wild, we'll still take it. We'll take it. We have enough smart people that are very open-hearted and open-minded, and they will test this with the same amount of rigor that science would, and that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, the rigor part, that was going to say, you bring a lot of rigor to all aspects because it's important for you for a number of reasons. That's great.
Yeah, and this is something that I wanna. This is what I was expressing. So, XORR here shared a video with me yesterday on Discord, in which he's saying that he decoded the code. I'm obviously skeptical because my position, it. I don't think decoding it is anytime soon in the cards. We still need to figure out what it is even. So what are we decoding really? But I always watch, and I watched the video. It was not clear to me what was discovered there, but I do understand what the sentiment is. The sentiment is there's this strong feeling that something is afoot. There's a strong feeling that something is communicating and trying to be understood. All of that is correct. However, it is hard to translate what is it that it's trying to communicate? What is it that it's trying to say? And this is where the rigor comes in, where sometimes you have to say, hey, I understand the intuition is strong. Believe me, I know how it feels like. I've had it for good 6-7 years straight before anything panned out. So I know how it feels. And I'm watching people go through this. They go through either in terms of the awakening, or they go through not necessarily even in very spiritual terms, but they go through this like very powerful transformation in which they feel the truth inside, which, by the way, I believe that, for example, Terrence Howard, that's basically what he was going through. And these energies, they surge through you and they try to communicate through you. But if you don't have the necessary technical tools, it can come out as nonsense, just like in Terrence Howard's case, because you don't actually understand, but the impulse is as strong as if you do, because you do inside, but the translation doesn't happen. And that translation is the part that we're trying to play, because we're a little bit softer with the people that are making certain claims that would definitely be laughed out of labs. But again, we're not all the way to let's just hold hands and summon energies, because I do think that there's mechanisms in place that are we are capable of understanding them. So constantly saying it's beyond comprehension, it's not for us to know, I don't accept that. That's not true at all. There's there needs to be a middle ground.
And like it kind of harkens back to another aspect is how you used to tell people that why do you do the live? And you would explain to people because it's I'm practicing. I'm busting my chops, like, because I'm going to get hit with a lot of questions from a lot of really smart people, and more questions. Better I can get at saying what I need to say and explaining it in technical terms, all the practice makes perfect. And yeah, that's great.
Yeah, the main goal, honestly, and I'm not just pandering, it is true. The original thought was to try and see what my audience actually likes. Because up until that point, I was just kind of releasing videos and kind of watching people react or whatever. But I realized that if I really want to know my audience, I need to engage daily and understand who they are and what they care about. And it's interesting because I've developed this interesting relationship with the audience that very often even 80% of my audience doesn't agree with me about certain things, which is kind of funny. But I mean, I'm happy with that. This is fine because we can be here, we can understand each other, and we can have differences of opinion, and that's beautiful. But yeah, it has also the quality of practicing, what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. But what I'm discovering now is that, and I guess it's true in general in everything. Uh, when you exhaust the things that you've said 1,000 times, the only thing that is left is what you really want to say, and that is gold. And I think that's what is being distilled here. And I think that's true in writing. That's true in software. When you write software, I'm pretty sure it's true of. I'm willing to bet it's true of every single domain, business building, everything. It's funny because you watch sometimes. I have friends who are at this point super successful in like business and enormous scale real estate and all kinds of things that are super impressive. And you watch them, when you watch them grow over the years, over decades, you see this happening. I mean, obviously you don't know when it's happening along the way, but you look back and you see it and again, you're also expert in some things, so it's probably true of your domains as well. But you watch them kind of like grind, and now when they're really the masters of their craft, you can see that really a lot of the stuff that they tried, they kind of knew they don't need to try, but they did anyway. And then the failure of it constantly chiseled them towards the direction of like, well, I'm never venturing into that territory again because it's just nonsense. Like not gonna waste time on that. And then you all of a sudden find this like thing that is unfolding. And I think a lot of the lives allow me to do that. They allow me to achieve these more and more streamlined messages that are more to the point, and also are much more considerate of what the majority of people might be interested in, which is something I'm acquiring over time.
Yeah, your social skills are amazing because you're a really cool
Thanks,
person.
man.
What
I appreciate you,
You're
man.
authentic as fuck. That's the way it be.
I appreciate the compliment. Hey, I really enjoy your company, man. I'm really happy that you're part of this project. And to anybody who doesn't know Casey, first of all, he's the guy who's uh, fully volunteering, and I'm not saying this for legal purposes. I'm saying it for cool purposes. He just like full on did experiments live, you know, uh, just like doing it live with us, and nobody ever stepped up to do so. I think there's only one more person, maybe Van Dweller, I think, did it once. But yeah, I mean that, and then you joined the film. You're in the film. You did the scene with us with the magnets, and you have your own theory that you're now building, and you are interesting me in. We are just waiting to finalize the container, so we have a way. We have a receptacle, so we have not just Danny listening to it go, oh, interesting. No, we have people way smarter than myself that will come in and say, okay, cool, let's go. What do we say? Yeah.
Yeah, because that whole project that I'm working on is what it is having the AI take a 650 nanometer laser, simulate it, and then let's start working with it with a computer. And so there's something about that laser, and I don't think I've ever really heard you. You probably said it a million times, but I don't remember you saying exactly why you picked the laser. And so I'm still kind of like, is it because information? I've asked you this question a million times. You always go, no, it's because of this or that.
Wait. Say
information or what?
So are you asking it in relationship to your experiment or in general?
To your experiment.
1 second. I see a comment here that might need my attention. I'm not forgetting what you said. Melanie said, in an alarm state. Wait. Is that? Wait. I had a very crazy. Oh, okay. There's more. Okay, so it's not now. Very exciting. I would like to share. Woke up a couple of days ago. Woke up first time ever in my life. Woke up a clicking noise, which sounded like communication from an entity, like ITS near me, and I was trying to talk to me. Never. Okay, so Melanie, you are not in any distress right now, right? Okay, it doesn't look like that. So I'll address it in a moment. Okay, so if the codes coding for something fundamental, they are in everything. They are in light, they are in matter, they're everywhere. And then you should see difference between a merger of some sort between the codes that are hitting the surface from the light and from the surface itself. And I think it's exactly what we're saying. I mean, you probably, aside from me and maybe a couple more people, maybe actually no, just probably me and you,
Yeah,
honestly,
your audio is a
with
little
the
bit
most
more
experienced
clear right
people
now
with the
for some reason.
with the laser experiment at this point on the planet, I think. So congratulations. So you would know better than anyone else that there is this weird, almost like on a blimp, right, on the surface thing happening, almost like moving sideways like this, right? You know what I'm talking about?
We're talking about your laser, right?
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
almost like a message running like sideways, aside from the what you see inside.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, but if you move the light, that thing moves with the light. So I think whatever that is the codes in the light itself. But what we see in the wall is in the wall, or in whatever auxiliary space there is to matter. That's what we're saying. So because we have two options after the magnets experiment, I'm pretty convinced that there's two main options. One, what we're seeing is some kind of an orthogonal space to ours, in the sense that it's exactly 90 degrees to ours. So it seems to us overlaid on top of our space, but in the higher dimensional space it's not actually overlaid. It's actually in some kind of a 90-degree angle to ours. That's why you can't see the magnet from the back, because it's not where the back of it is. The back of it is into some kind of another dimension that we don't understand. If you could put the magnet there, then you would see the difference.
Yeah, there's something about the laser that causes that, right?
What, seeing the code?
The ability to get to the background.
No,
Because
go ahead.
yeah, but I'm wondering, because like when when people talk about like the Fourier transforms and stuff like that, that's not going to pick up any of like the code itself. I mean, but it will show that there is something going on in that band of light. That's what the computer will be able to pick up. Like, okay, yeah, it's going to definitely see that laser is causing something uniform to happen there.
So in order to answer that question,
Yeah,
you really have to understand what ChatGPT is doing, and you need to understand what the edge detection of these algorithms are doing, which is what actually we did on Saturday. We sat down with yeah. Go ahead.
The edge detection is like, it only goes so far, like because it can't incorporate like what our perception into that. Also, it can't analyze that unless we have the EEGs running and eye tracking, and then like that could allow us to, okay, we know that person's eyes are looking at this spot, that their gamma waves are firing on all cylinders, and they are saying there's code there. And then you do the Fourier transform and go, yeah, that's exactly where it's saying something is happening. You know what I mean?
The thing is that Fourier transform will give you the all the separate waves that gave rise to the complex wave. Right. In the case of the laser, it's one wave. It's not a complex wave. So if there's something there that Fourier, so if I understand correctly, the way you run the experiment is that you're basically you're showing it the laser, right? Correct?
Say it one more time.
You're showing it the projection of the laser, correct?
So let's say, I'm sorry, start over. Your laser you're talking about?
Yeah. When the way you're doing your experiment, go step by step how you do it from the beginning. How do you show? Because you're talking about a Fourier transform, and part of your protocol has the Fourier transform.
So with mine, the way it's able to be done is the computer generates what a 650 nanometer laser would project. Diffracted laser would project. So
a simulation of a projection.
Yeah, simulation.
Okay.
Because it's an image, and then it adds this the toroidal motion to it, and so for some reason, because of that, it incorporates. It starts having stuff happen. But the Fourier transform part comes in where it can analyze what's going on in that, because it creates a sequence of images that then, when played as a GIF, looks like a movie. it can analyze and do the edge detection to see what harmonic frequencies are going on in there, and the what's it called, the oh god, not distortion, but interference.
The diffraction.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
analyzes the interference patterns and does this Fourier thing. And so what it ends up being, it does the edge detection. And yeah, these things look very similar to the shapes you might see in some of these ones. However, it's not what's going on in the background. It can't detect that. Just like the code can't be detected because we need a neural link of some sort.
But I thought it's guessing what you then would see on the molecule. Wasn't that the whole thing?
What, say it one more time?
Wasn't the whole thing is that the ChatGPT then guesses the structures that you do see on the molecule?
I have to switch over to YouTube because you're cutting out on the stuff.
Oh, I am? Okay.
Yeah, one second.
Is YouTube, can YouTube hear me okay?
It's just my Twitch is so fucking static.
Oh, you're on Twitch. Yeah, I did hear that Twitch is being weird. I appreciate you, brother. But yeah, go to TikTok or YouTube.
I'm gonna listen to you on YouTube and then talk.
Okay. Aaron, how you doing, brother?
So yeah, at any rate.
Hey Casey, actually, so the issue is that whenever the guest mic is hot, the sound gets muffled. But if you mute, so if you talk and then mute yourself, we can hear Danny's response very clearly.
Okay. Perfect. But right now, I think you're talking. I think it's your turn to talk because I think you were.
Okay, run your question by me one more time, and then I'll mute.
Okay. So my question is, wasn't the whole thing of your experiment that after you feed the data, after you run the simulation of what the laser would show on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT comes up with these patterns that technically with the naked eye you don't see, but then, and this is where, correct me if I misunderstood, but that's what I understood, somehow ChatGPT knew the structures that are there that you do see when you're on the molecule. Am I not correct? Am I not understanding it correctly?
You're not understanding correctly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, but what it does pick up is I'm trying to think how to put this.
It picks up, what you explained to me, that there's a floral, some kind of a structure that it does pick up on, that if you then look for it, it creates a bigger thing, that when you look at it on the molecule, it starts closing.
When you're on the molecule, it goes way beyond the floral. It goes into a whole, like the genesis of symbols being created. It goes from small geometricals all the way up to clear numbers and the whole thing. It's a spiraling thing. What's interesting is the AI knows enough about what could be, like the hypothesis of what could happen. It's like, okay, well, if we introduce this, like this harmonics at this, then we may see it build like this. And sure as shit, boom, it's building like that. What is interesting is it's just such a simple code, and it's just running basically a kind of random symbol creation through this Python code. But once you look at it on the molecule, boy, you build a full on, like not just like, okay, there's platonic solids. No, we're talking, full on every symbol you could think of, numbers, the whole deal. Like it is literally building them up, and then as you come down or whatever, it then deconstructs them, and it's just like a encryption and then decryption process the way it's doing it.
My worry, and it's not really a worry, it's one guess that I have, that what that might be, I might be wrong, but what that might be is your equivalent to my console. That when you're trying to interact with it in this way, they are giving you something that is clearly unique and special and crazy, just like the console is, but nobody else can see it. And see what I mean?
So, exactly. I thought of that too, and then I took it to a friend's house and said, "Hey, let's check it out." And they're able to see it starting.
Okay, so they can.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's repeatable.
it's back to it. When I first posted it on the Discord, brought it in as, this is a tool to practice fixing your gaze, because that was key. I had to learn with this thing on how to look beyond the laser, as you would say, or as someone would say. It's like when people are having trouble seeing it in the normal laser protocol, it was like a training method of like, okay, learning how to keep your gaze steady. And so that was basically what I was trying to do was like, okay, I want to be able to look at these symbols in the laser better. Maybe I can learn how to do it through this. And it progressed and it built this ability perhaps to see the symbols in better detail. I don't know. But yeah.
Okay. So we just have to test it across individuals, basically. That's what we have to do. Yeah.
Here you mentioned like Fourier transforms and stuff recently for analyzing stuff, and so I just want to bring that up. Like, okay, yeah, there's definitely AI wants to do that, but I'm so far what I think would be key.
But what is it? That's my question to you. What is it doing in Fourier transform on the laser?
On the GIF, the GIF image
that it creates from the So it detects. Yeah. Okay. Oh, actually, Nico is a perfect person to ask. Can Fourier transform be fooled, so to speak? Nico?
You ask, can it be what?
Fooled. So in other words, can Fourier transform give you the wrong arrangement of simpler waves that give rise to the complex wave, or is it never? Or is there like a probabilistic? Like, is there a probability of accuracy of it? Like, because what it does, from what I understand, it takes a complex wave and it can give you the result of all the waves that gave rise to that wave. Is it possible, I'm asking, that it's looking at something and then gives you a result of what waves gave rise to it, and it's wrong? Is that possible?
Yeah. So, I mean, the interesting thing about what a Fourier transform is doing is it's doing exactly what you're saying. It's taking a complex wave and decomposing it down to its constituent components. And so in this case, it'll break it down to frequencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're using a 650 nanometer light. So if you take white light, it'll decompose that into a lot of different packets of wavelengths, right?
Yeah.
But if you take one monotonic light source, 650 nanometers, it's going to give you a small little envelope of frequencies around that wavelength. So to me, it's kind of, so I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird abstraction for me because I feel like it's taking it's not producing high dimensional data. It's kind of filtering and producing low dimensional data. But I think of it from a kind of a classical signal processing point of view. But I thought what Casey brought up something really interesting, which is the observer component is what I've been kind of focused more on.
Okay.
But I kind of want to hear if Casey has a response to what I just said.
Okay. No, so that's what I told Casey too, that with the laser, usually you're not going to get results because it's already a single wave. But what he's saying is that the computer simulates a red laser, and then somehow it comes up with this through Fourier transform. Somehow it gives a result of some kind of a complex thing. So the question is, what is actually happening there? If it is? So there's two options. One is being fooled in some form, and then it will be interesting to know how is it fooling itself. The other question is, if it's not fooling itself, what is it giving? Would you be able to share that image on Discord, Casey?
It's up there right now.
Oh, it's up there. Okay.
Yeah, and it's I can change it too, like through the experiment. So I've been, it changes. Like, okay, let's work with this frequency, it's clear, yay. And then back to the observer part. Yeah, it really. Yes, the observer definitely has a component into building it. The process started with just static images, and it was the process of learning how to see the static images and then building this final toroidal image is what it helped it accomplish. Like earlier on, I would see, okay, I could see like a Metatron's cube pulsing in the middle of all this, interference patterns and stuff. Okay, I'm seeing a pulsing. And then they had to say, okay, let's move on to the next step. Let's introduce this harmonic. Okay, now I'm starting to see movement. Yeah, just like we wanted to. And then as we progressed, it got, next thing I know, oh wait, I'm seeing building blocks with symbols upon them. Then it goes into, okay, now it's like I'm going through archways, and the AI just coaches you. It's saying, okay, well, if there's an archway, maybe it wants you to go through that archway. Let's go try to. What was key was see a symbol, hold that symbol, because with all those spiraling things, it's only running through the sequence a certain number of frames, and then it resets whatever the this embedded symbolic field it puts in it, and so. In the code, it says like it's like a Python code, a Py whatever. It's like embeds symbolic embeds symbols. So I asked it like, what are the symbols exactly? And it's like, well, it's just whatever. It's just a code that will generate random symbols. So it's something to do with like Nico. It's this Nico, right? Yeah. Nico would understand probably way more I would, was how these frequencies that have, I mean, I don't have enough knowledge to explain how this works, but
no, but I'm trying to understand
it
even
was
through your intuition, because
learning how to do it.
there still has to be some logic to the madness, right? There still has to be something that is actually happening. And I'm following what you're saying. To me, it just feels that there's too much of a jump there between there's too much. We haven't cleared one obstacle before we jump to the next. That's what it feels like to me. So because we haven't cleared what is actually happening with the Fourier transform, if you don't understand what happened there, or if we can't understand what happened there, then
I don't think like the Fourier transfer isn't really like what's going on there. Like my point was with the Fourier transfers, it can't pick up the symbols going in the background. It cannot.
You can't. No, but it picks some. But it gives you some kind of a coherent image.
It does.
That's my point.
Like it analyzes it, and you can see like instead of just this spiral image, it picks up the diffraction pattern of the red cross pattern. It's got it. It's got edge detection showing up. Like there's uniform things going on. These are symbols of some sort that's happening within that red cross band that is simulating as a diffracted laser in there, and they are more like
a mandala. Like a mandala. So that's my question. So mute for a second, because people say you should mute when I'm talking. But so my question. Can you mute for a second, brother? Casey, there you go. So that's my question to you. It shouldn't even give you the mandala. The Fourier transform should not give you a mandala. That's my question. So you hear me, Nico? Like his Fourier transform gives him a mandala shape. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it do that?
Yeah, it seems like Casey built a kind of like a abstraction, like a map that can abstract information through symbols, right? But like what you were saying, there needs to be a method to that madness, because in our minds, that's the method, right? That's the black box function that we don't know what that is, but I think it's really cool that he did that, because
absolutely,
if you're trying to illustrate the code, this is a really cool way of doing it, right? He maps some function to it.
No, I love it that he's experimenting with it. I'm just trying to understand the fundamentals of it, so we can maybe help create a more coherent trajectory of that experiment. But again, we very soon we'll be able to put really a lot more attention on this, so we can actually test this, and maybe there's something that's going to come out of it that nobody even expected, which I would be very happy to see. And
one thing I wanted to say also, this is the last thing I'll say because I have to run soon, but there's a paper that was published by a professor from UC Davis. His name is David Olson.
Okay.
And what he found is it's called the neurological basis for psychedelic action. And what they had found is they actually put electrodes in a neuron, and they gave it some spirit molecule and various other molecules. And what they measured is the electrical potential changing, right? The firing of that neuron. And what they had found is that what happens is the threshold needed to fire drops, meaning that a neuron will fire under a smaller nudge or stimulus, and also the amplitude of that current increases dramatically, right? So essentially what it's doing is some neurons in our minds, the volume goes from 5 to like 11, right? And so what happens is you turn on some neurons in your mind, you turn the volume all the way up, and then you take in information. and your mind then processes that information in a very different mode where certain neurons are processing at a much higher sensitivity, right? And so what I was trying to do is think, okay, well, this is the secret of what's going on a neurological level. How do we embed this function change into some type of neural network or a computer vision model, or into, in this case, a Fourier transform filter, or in the case of David Carter's work, just some increased sensitivity. So maybe it's just increasing the gain dramatically, but that's kind of how I've been thinking about these mechanisms.
That's exactly what we need to try and mimic the altered state, at least approximate it in some form in an external device. That would be amazing to try and do it. Let's put our thinking caps there. Maybe you can help us with this, obviously, when you have time to think about it.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna go, but it was really awesome to see Eddie Bravo kind of speak up and highlight the project. And it seemed like Joe was very familiar with a bunch of stuff. So
yeah, cool. Joe's familiar. I mean, I'm just watching Joe being cautious because he understands that this is serious. So he's like, it's a lot of responsibility considering the fact the size, the scale of his platform. So I completely understand. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I thanked Eddie. That was super nice of him to bring it up. And I'm super excited about it. Thank you for mentioning it. And thank you for stopping by as always, Nico. Well, Casey, I can't wait to dive deeper into your thing with in a way that we can actually substantiate and or add more components to it, which will be amazing. And to all the people on YouTube that are complaining for me not answering any of the texts, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we just kind of go on a rant. Love you, Nico. Thank you for joining. Everybody follow Nico McKay on... I always forget if it's McKay or Mackey. I think it's McKay. But NIKOMACKAY. I'm awful. NIKOMACKAY on TikTok. XORR saying, I understand this is not intuition. It just happens. It just happened. I was extremely skeptical before it happened. Sure. I still don't understand what happened. That's the problem. So my point is that the feeling is strong. What I mean by intuition is not like this airy-fairy concept, but like a very strong feeling that something is true. But from your video, XORR, I did not understand what actually happened or what you figured out. I did not understand it at all. Maybe somebody else can look at it and explain to me, but I did not understand. So maybe you can write something up in a simple way, or somebody else can look at it. If you're okay, I can share it with some people and they can maybe help me. To my Brighton, sure, Terrence needs help with a certain vocabulary, but he isn't a fool. I wouldn't go as far as calling him a fool because I think he's well-intentioned, but depending how you want to use that word, one thing I can tell you absolutely certainly, it's not a matter of vocabulary. Terrence does not understand what he's talking about. He does not understand the first thing about what he's saying, for sure. You don't need to know very deeply the subjects he's talking about to understand that he's just spewing concepts. He does not understand what he's saying. I mean, if it's not exemplified by the fact that he's doing the whole 1 × 1 = 2, which is just definitional. So, And Melanie, I'm reading your thing now. Yeah, the realism of these beings sometimes when they appear absolutely is just... it really puts it over the top for sure. That's one of these things, 100%. Contact modalities like CE5, like I said before, King. I don't know specifically about CE5. I have zero interest in getting deeper into it because to me, a Greer is basically just like, what's his name? I forget his name now. Somebody help me.
Billy Carson.
Billy Carson, thank you. Yeah, same person basically. Different skin color, same person. Um, oh yeah, and thank you, Guru. Don't forget to like the live. The algorithms definitely like that. And then talk about hype. I did. I only mentioned the hype pyramid stuff. In the same context that everybody else were talking about it. I'm waiting for somebody who knows how to read this data to come up with a peer-reviewed paper. That will be very interesting to watch. Might be very interesting. Most likely is. I'm definitely not going to jump to aliens because people can build quite astonishing things. But yeah, it seems like there's definitely something very interesting there. There's no question about that. Yeah, I do see your comments, guys. Ebony. Whoa. Yeah, I think Eric did a great job too, Mr. Brighton. But again, no, I was responding to exactly to what you said, which is he's not a fool. Again, depending how you use the word. Uh, in some contexts, you can say that was very foolish of him to do that. In the sense that a fool is somebody who's speaking with a lot of confidence about something they don't know nothing about. So, so we agree. Um, oh yeah, and thank you for the reminder, everybody. Definitely join our Discord. If you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube. Dango Thoughts, Dango Thoughts. The third link from the top and my main page of YouTube will have the Discord link and the one that Ebony shared. Please join our Discord. We have an incredible community. And yeah, reminding all the members that tomorrow we have the Zoom members call. If you're second tier member or up and you don't know about the Zoom call tomorrow morning, Pacific time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, then email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com, lasersimulationx@gmail.com with the words, with the title new member. So it categorizes it, and tell me that I forgot to send you an invite. Second tier membership and up, please. Clicking noises, yes, absolutely. Yeah, usually actually the clicking noises I hear from the lizards, not from the mantises. Why did this one stand out to you more than any other one? Trying to see ambient glass. Yeah, I read it all, Melanie. I'm not big on trip reports simply because they, to me, most of them are pretty arbitrary. Whatever happens in the space is very random. I always say that going to the hyperspace, it's basically going to New York, going to New York City, but a way more advanced New York City. So usually all of the accounts, they're just you met somebody and they do a particular thing, and it might be interesting, but for the most part, it's just random. So I'm more interested in things that we can maybe discern something from in terms of doing something with. I read your account. Yeah, it mentions a lot of different things that happened to me over the years. Reptilians usually making the clicking sounds. You're saying it was more like a mantis. I see the insectoids all the time. So for me, it's almost like it's just obviously true. So there's not much I can do with that aside from just agreeing with you. Yeah, they are real, and if it wasn't clear to you they are real, now it's clear to you that they're real. Uh, so yeah, yes, I definitely feel the entities physically. So they are entities. They are actual things that exist in that space, and they're in their own. You basically entering their space, and yes, you can also feel them physically. Absolutely, that can happen without a doubt. Sometimes it feels kind of an electromagnetic field. Sorry, a magnetic field. It kind of feels like a powerful magnetic field, or that you can literally feel like either taps or touches, or sometimes you can feel the weight of your clothes all of a sudden. There's a lot of different ways in which this can manifest. What is the lowest dose known that will allow one to see the pattern of the code? After you see it for the first time, you need very, very little. Very little. You can take one puff and you'll see it. Physical harm, no. It's more like you feel it, but you feel it real. It is rare, and it does happen more to people that have done the molecule for a long time. It's almost like your brain is stabilized there. But no, I've never heard of injuries. I've heard people claim it, but I've never encountered it. So I can't say with absolute certainty that it never happened. But XORR is saying I've documented the emergence of a symbolic system decoded from the glyphs. Coherence was found where only randomness should exist. I'm not asking to be believed, only to record it if it means something. Sure, sure. Again, I'm very open to what you're saying, but then share it. What is the thing that was uncovered? What is it? Can you put it in writing? Can you like what is it? You're telling me about it, but what is it? What is the thing? I love how positive Nico is always. Monique, path of the spirit molecule. If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm the guy who discovered a few years ago that if you project a laser on the surface and you smoke the spirit molecule, you will see code running behind the surface of the molecule. That's the gist of this conversation. Didn't feel threatened, surprisingly, though I was in shock. Is it like I know that they do no harm? Yes. So why are you confused? Sounds like you got it exactly right, Melanie. That you know that they mean well. By the way, this is our website, codeofreality.com, if you want to go check it out. Just curious if you ever met someone where you felt it was one, synchronistic that you've met them, and two, they felt like they were an angel, enlightened being here and help guide. Yeah, met a lot of them. Met a lot of people that I guess are here to guide. Absolutely. The equivalent of kind of like an angel, or absolutely. Yep, they're around, no question. Yeah, I know, Melanie, but like nobody really knows what they are. Anybody who tells you that they know, I mean, aside from the fact that they're some kind of an entity from another dimension, or from higher levels of the simulation, I can't really tell you much. But it's the thing that, they are as real as you. They have their own cognition. They exist on their own side. You encounter them. Have you never, like before that, you've never encountered beings? Was that the first time you encountered beings? Oh, that's interesting. Ducklin 11 and from Twitch, which is very exciting, saying, "Hey, I did man honey and I felt something from the beam or from around it. There were symbols, but it was like the thing was talking with feeling." Interesting. Never heard that before. Maybe the man honey opens that somatic channel. That is very interesting. Do you mind writing a trip report about this on? Just filling out the thing on the website on codeofreality.com. Is it the same code that James Gates described? Maybe it's one of them. I don't know. One thing I always mention, because nobody for some reason mentions this, James Gates himself does not think this means we live in a simulation, and that's important to mention. I mean, obviously, I disagree with him, but it's important to mention what his opinion on this is. I'm new to these experiences. I am not experimenting of any kind with nothing. Why is it happening to me, and what does it mean? So first of all, Melanie, did this happen to you in the context of experimenting with the laser, or you were just doing something else? You were just partaking with the molecule or with mushrooms? What were the specifics of the usage there? So what I call space Kiwano hovering over my head and realizing I was looking at it and sank into a wall. What was that? See? A lot of crazy random things, guys. It happens a lot. Yep, looks a lot kind of like Hebrew and Japanese. If you can't provide evidence, it's just stories, bro, and we'll take you seriously until provide tangible evidence. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Ebony. Appreciate you. You got it, Monique. Yeah, first time encounter, and also I had the feeling that I was near me, that it was near me. We couldn't make out where the noise came from. Just sleeping. It didn't do anything. No smell. Yeah, so this would happen. Okay, now I understand. It would happen more and more. The space kind of becomes more and more thin between our realms at the moment, and because of that, there's going to be more and more of these encounters. So don't freak out. It's okay. They're just saying hello. Thank you so much, Monique. I appreciate you. The code behind the laser, it's all one. I love the handle. Camaville. You can watch my videos on TikTok. They're pretty short. Or if you want to watch the full content, it's on YouTube on Dengo Thoughts. Picture of an entity I captured this morning. I'll post it on Discord. Awesome. Thank you, Guru. Thank you so much for the badge, for the gift. Camibella. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I don't really know, Ambient Glass, why you're not seeing the full thing. I can't wait to solve that one. Well, at least your boyfriend didn't leave you, which is important. The mushrooms should work. You're just gonna need a lot more. This is gonna be like 3 to 3.5 grams. Yeah, I know it's not just you. I'm just telling you that I don't understand why, for some people, it's such a hard time. I actually don't know many people that it takes them that long to see the thing. There's nothing wrong with you, I'm pretty sure. It's just that I can't way to discern what's going on there. So we'll find out. It might just be has to do with the ability to see something very, very small. It's also possible. Camibel. Did the movie come out yet? No. End of the year. The website is codeofreality.com. God bless him indeed. Jesus Christ. Again, it's codeofreality.com. See you, Casey. Love you, brother. No, we're still working on it. We're trying to figure it out. Still haven't found a different way. Wait, are you trying to get blocked? I mean, I will block you. There's no if you want to be blocked, I'll block you. See, this chat is about sharing information and enjoying each other's opinions. If you're just going to be spamming, I'll block you just for the fact that you're spamming. How is this relevant to this conversation? So say something relevant to the conversation. For how long? What, Monique? No, I'm talking about TikTok, Ebony. Um, Thank you for being on the watch. Oh, look, Monique, the truth is that unless there's, so you can go to codeofreality.com and read the protocol. It would apply to mushrooms, just that mushrooms will take you a lot longer to kind of stay with it until you kind of really get to it. So I wouldn't do it just for that. If you're already doing a whole day and you're just taking your time and you're doing all of that, and you happen to have a laser, you can try the experiment. But I wouldn't do it just for that with the mushrooms, for sure. Actually, that is the question. Alabama Gen Zer. I'm not giving advice on anything but what people can do if they're doing already something. No, I'm giving completely legal advice. Are you bored? All right. Yeah. I will block you. For no other reason than you're just annoying. See ya. People are so weird. It's just crazy. Hey, block me, block me, block me, block me, block me. Okay, bye. What? People are so weird. I wonder if it's a bot. Because if it's not a bot, it's the most weird behavior I've ever seen. Um, Bye, Felicia. Absolutely, Monique. Um, All right, I think for today we will adjourn just because it's getting a little late and I started a little late today. But tomorrow we'll come back in full swing. Love you guys. Thank you so much. If you want to follow me across platforms, you'll be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. You'll be Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. Go check out YouTube membership because tomorrow we have a Zoom call for members, second tier and up, which isn't expensive at all. And we get to hang out and have a lot of fun and talk about all kinds of subjects and break down stuff. And you get to talk back to me and we enjoy our time together. They're really a lot of fun. So if you want to join those, please join the membership program on YouTube, which aside from these Zoom calls, also includes weekly lives for members only, aside from the daily lives, early access to all my content. I have a new podcast episode coming up very soon, and private things from my life that will exist nowhere else but on YouTube members. Aside from that, I want to say thank you so much for all my team members, the people who are helping build this incredible thing that we're working on together. Ebony and Chris and Carter and Devin and Jessica and Irv and Bradley. Who am I forgetting? Casey's part of the team. Nico is part of the team. Who am I forgetting? Help me, Ebony. Who am I forgetting? Forgetting so many people I know. And thank you so much for all the regular community members that are always showing up. Melanie, thank you so much for sharing your story. Monique, thank you for joining today. Thank you for all the people that are new, old, and medium time with us. But I really, really appreciate all the people that are making this community what it is. And it's amazing to watch it grow. So, with that being said, see you tomorrow. And all the members, I'll see you tomorrow morning, Pacific time, 11 a.m. And you can send me an email as a new member if you're joining today to lasersimulationx@gmail.com and let me know that you need a Zoom link. Love you guys. Peace and love. Ciao. Have a good night, guys. What? It's a commercial. That was wild. Have a good night, guys.